Welcome in, Cornhusker Connection. I'm Brandon Shanahan, joined by familiar faces Tyler Sprinkle and Brooke Byrne. Week 2 action coming on. We have our special guest of the week, Brett Sprinkel. Brett, thanks for hopping on.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So lots of good football going on this weekend. Obviously, the Nebraska-Colorado game, what we'll get into a little bit more here. But are there any other games that you guys have on your radar that you're pretty juiced about?
Obviously, Texas, Alabama, I feel like.
Yeah, that's the no-brainer.
Yeah,
I'm certainly not the Iowa State game.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm super stoked about the Iowa State game. Another game that I'm sneaky looking forward to is I want to see Texas A&M in Miami. I really want to see that game. I feel like they need to do something in Cristobal's second year, and what better way than to defeat an SEC opponent at home, especially being the underdog with 4.5 points. Miami Hurricanes.
I like that one a lot, Brett, just because both of those teams need that win to, boost themselves up.
Mm-hmm.
But two other games I think are just kind of flying under the radar. A ranked matchup with Ole Miss going to Tulane. Tulane beating South Alabama, who was supposed to have 9 or 10 wins this year, by 20 points. I personally think Tulane could jump up and bite them, but if not, that game's close. And the second game is Wisconsin going to Washington State. Washington State's quarterback, Cam Ward, that guy can run and throw, and Wisconsin better bring the defense because otherwise they're going to get bitten.
Well, the game that absolutely nobody's talking about is where'd it go? The JMU versus Virginia game.
Because no one wants to watch that.
Absolutely.
A blast.
You're right. I live in Virginia and still nobody's talking about it. You're right.
Dude, it's the battle for the state.
The state?
Are you kidding me?
Are we forgetting
no
about
one
Virginia
cares.
Tech? Are we forgetting about George Mason, dude? Come on.
Well, James Madison is in a league of their own right now.
Okay.
What a beast.
The battle.
Liberty? God, there's so many Virginia schools. There's so many Virginia schools you wouldn't even think about. Old Dominion?
You want to guess the line on that?
Southeast corner is just packed.
JMU by 7.
No.
I mean, Virginia by 14.
No.
Really?
Virginia by 7.
No, JMU by 5.5.
No.
Interesting. Is that a home game for JMU?
It's in Virginia.
They're both
So
in
it's a home game for
Virginia.
Virginia. Yeah, so it's a home game for
I
Virginia.
mean, it's at Virginia.
Okay.
What about the total? Anybody got a guess on the total?
Is there 5-point dogs at home?
Yeah.
62.5. That's the total.
No.
38.
Close.
Wow.
45.
40.5.
Wow, that's an NFL score. That's an
It's
NFL
going to
total.
be electric.
So I have a wedding this weekend, and I will not be as tuned in as I would like to be. So I'm going to need you guys to blow up my phone and let me know what's going on across the country.
I just thought we were going to be hanging out. So this is the first I've heard of it. That's crazy.
Well, I have oblos to coin a term Barstool has. Can't skip that. If I do, then I'm skipping yours in October.
See
Ooh, I
ya.
like that. I mean, hey, you got football to watch. I get it.
Yeah, we're overbooked anyways, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
Actually, Tyler, are there going to be TVs at the reception? What's up?
No.
That's a good question.
And I picked a great week because there aren't like any really good games going on.
As of
What a professional.
I'll see what I could do though.
I mean,
Maybe downstairs in the bottom part.
Let's get one of those like AVs, like big T-tube TVs that you get like at school. They wheel it in.
roll
Yeah,
that
let's get one
baby
of those
out
bad
there.
boys. Yeah.
Yeah,
Should I just bring a TV and have it out in the parking lot?
the little tailgate style.
Yeah.
Listen,
Go out there like, I gotta go burn a dart real quick.
To your own wedding, like, what are we doing?
I'll have my laptop for sure. I'll bring the iPad too. We'll roll it that way.
It's a good game plan. But I also think I was worried with doing predictions of each game like College Game Day does that the first couple of weeks would be too easy. That wasn't the case at all. All of us stunk. Brooke, the vibe killer, picking Minnesota over Nebraska was the difference there. We all picked LSU minus Brooke, so you get credit for that. We also had Florida winning. Want to talk about that? Cam Rising didn't even play. Utah had a quarterback competition there.
Florida was who I thought they were. I put way too much faith in Graham Mertz, which he did not deserve. And Utah beating Florida with their third string quarterback says all you need to know about Florida. So,
Also,
Sounds like
Brandon,
4-8 to me.
I appreciate you giving me the win for Boise State, but they certainly lost. So I went
Oh no.
4-6.
Oh, I forgot about that one. I was like, no one would have picked against Washington, which they have. So let's see. This
That
1
was
win,
me.
2 win, 3 win, 4 win.
shout out Trevor Murphy for having
Oh my God.
Boise State by 2 touchdowns.
Win by 14 when they were already down by like 21.
He came up, he's so proud. He's like, yeah, I just made a bet. It's like, if I bet $5, I win like $1,400.
He's just making they call that a donation that he just made.
Yeah. Luke had a
Yeah.
good week though.
Yeah, 6-4. Let's see, Penn State.
You all bet
Utah,
South
Penn
Carolina though. That's crazy.
You know, I didn't feel great about that one going in. That's oddly enough the only loss I put on South or North Carolina schedule all year.
We all picked UTSA and they look real bad.
Yeah, that was a bad look.
Mhm.
I mean, it's the common trope when we all go the same direction. I guess Tennessee proved that wrong. Ohio State did. Although Ohio State didn't look good at all.
No.
They did not. Certainly
But-
not.
An opportunity to redeem ourselves here. Look at this beautiful blank board without all the crossed out teams to it. So we'll just start on top. Friday night, Illinois at Kansas.
Are
Kansas
they wearing their
debuting
black
the-
jerseys?
Yes,
Yeah, it's
yes, they are.
blackout. The
Can I-
weirdest, the
It's
weirdest
Kansas by a
combination.
million.
Are you guys
Oh.
picking against the spread, or are you just picking winners?
Straight
Straight
up.
up.
Okay, gotcha.
Which is why I thought this would be so easy. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
still fucking ass. Kansas, yeah, I'm right there with you. Illinois didn't look
Yep.
good at all.
Give me
Uh,
Kansas.
Yeah.
Oh, one caveat to that, I did not realize. So their Heisman guy, Jalen Daniels, did not play week 1. If it's Bean, their backup again, I could see Illinois winning this, but from what I'm seeing, Daniels should be back week 2. Maybe I'm wrong, but there is something to watch there.
That's a good point. I didn't even realize that.
Give me Illinois.
No idea.
I appreciate that.
Ooh.
No, it's like I didn't realize that Kansas has literally lost like 9 or 8 of their last 9 games going back to last year. I'm not about that. I thought they were building something. They weren't. Illinois.
Well, I mean, because Daniels got hurt and his defense is better than it
Yeah.
was last year.
Brett's
So
got a big old poop in his pants right now.
Imagine starting off 0-1 on picks. That's crazy.
Wisconsin and Washington State, like Brooke said, I mean that's not an easy game. Pullman.
Go ahead
Washington.
and put down Wazoo for your boy.
Oh, that's so
I
good to hear.
agree. I agree.
Wow.
No,
All right.
I don't want you to agree with me. Take Wisconsin.
No.
I'm taking
I mean-
Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'll take Wisconsin.
Oh, so we already got the fades going.
It's the Luke Fickle era, dude. Like, are you kidding me? They're gonna
Every-
get her. There's a reason why nobody wanted Washington State, dude. No, but none of the
Yeah.
conferences wanted Washington State, and there's a reason. Wisconsin
Listen.
$1 billion.
I want
Every
to point
pick-
out
That Brooke
wanna
makes,
point
I'm
out-
taking it.
what Brett is doing right now, fading his own brother. I see you
Genius.
doing it, Brett.
Genius.
It's not a bad move. Gotta respect.
I just hope I don't have to take SMU. Come on, Tyler, help me out here.
So here's my selling point on SMU. They're looking like they're on track to be the best Group of 5 team, and Oklahoma. This I can't do it. I can't find any reason to pick
No,
SMU
it's-
here. I'm sorry.
It's Oklahoma.
No, it's
Yeah,
it's always been Oklahoma. Always will be
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
Boomer.
I was really hoping in the middle of that sentence I'd find some bit of information or some bit of anything. I mean I think SMU is going to be pretty good.
They're joining the ACC.
They're going to the ACC.
There's that. But they're not taking any TV money for 9 years. Tyler, did you hear that?
I mean, it's
I
crazy.
did.
That's insane.
Like,
That's so
please,
funny.
just please.
take us.
And then Ole Miss and Tulane. Brooke brought it up earlier. Interesting matchup. I mean, I'm trying to win games here. I'm not picking against Ole Miss. I could be wrong, but I'm not going out on that limb. I need to rack up some wins here.
Give me the green wave, baby.
I like it.
Don't you do it, Tyler. Don't fucking do it.
I was no lie. I was thinking the same thing. I think Ole Miss always comes out every year looking like a very good team, and they just always lay some stinkers. Always. I think this is going to be one of them, especially at Tulane. I see Tulane bringing this one home.
Let's go, Brett. Can I put you down for Ole Miss then?
No, put me down for Tulane. So, like,
Oh.
whenever I originally made my picks, I was betting against the spread, and I like Tulane +7. But I'm gonna go with my gut here. Give me the fucking green wave. Tulane wins it outright. Let's go.
Let's get it.
Oh man, this one's gonna be an ugly football game. Like
I don't know
we're gonna
much
call
about Arizona State this year.
we're gonna call this one the toilet bowl.
yeah, I mean, only the true sickos of college football are gonna appreciate this. I can't wait, but I mean, it's a
It's gonna be on like
It's a rough
9:30 too.
I can't wait. Big 12 after dark, sign me up, man.
I'm gonna be
But-
hammered, flipping this on my phone at this wedding reception, locked in.
It's gonna be your phone's gonna be dead, dude. Don't kid anybody.
All right. Well, that's just hurtful.
So
Rude,
I
but fair.
Yeah, I think both of these teams are bad, but I do give Oklahoma State a pretty good coaching bump. I think they get it done on the road.
Yeah, I like Okie State too.
Yeah, I guess. Like I said, I don't know anything about Arizona State, so I
You can just give
have
it to
to
me
take
too.
Oklahoma State.
I'll take
Yeah.
Oklahoma State. All I know is Arizona State, they just banned themselves from a bowl game that they were never going to reach this year anyway. So I just, whatever.
But good on them.
Wash. Yeah.
Yeah, and, first year head coach. They got poached the Oregon offensive coordinator, but they're still cleaning up a lot of stuff from Herm Edwards in his time there. So they're going to be toast for a little bit. A Big 12 team that's or Pac-12 team that's not toast, Oregon. I like Texas Tech. I'm not ready to jump off the bridge like some of the folks here.
I'm drowning
But-
right now because I refuse
yeah.
to get back on the bridge.
But I mean, Oregon's they're on a whole different level. I think they have CFP aspirations. I don't think they're going to overlook Texas Tech here.
I got Oregon. Big reason is I'm not a believer in Texas Tech's quarterback. If you can't get it done against Wyoming, then there's no way he's getting it done against Oregon.
Yep, give them to me. I want the Ducks. As I said, I've been reborn a Duck, and that's where I'm going to be living all year long.
At least until they lose.
Whack, whack.
Yep, and then it's on to the next team from my
So
pool.
Texas A&M and Miami, I had this one so wrong last year. I was so hopeful that Miami was going to be back, and at this point, I was such a good game last year. I thought that both teams were going to be pretty good. That wasn't true at all. To give me Texas A&M here, I think they're going to be so much better than they were last year.
Anybody but a Florida team for me. So
I like
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. I hear a lot.
Give me Miami.
Thank God.
For the reason I said before, like it's Cristobal second season, they got to do something. I like them a lot better than I like Texas A&M. If it was reversed and Texas A&M was at home, I'd probably be thinking something different. But give me Miami in the swamp.
Well, I mean, it's
Or
not like
the swamp,
Miami has
rather.
a great home field advantage. They're giving
I
out
was
bogus
just gonna
tickets
say-
now.
Where do they play? Is it the Hard Rock Cafe
Yeah.
Stadium? Give
Yeah.
me the Hurricanes the Hard Rock, baby.
Let's go.
They
Utah
fill
and
up like
Baylor.
a quarter of that stadium.
I mean, it's disgusting. Baylor threw a stinker out there last week. Texas State's. I don't have any reason to think that they're going to be able to pull this off. It's in Waco. I guess that's something, but
This one
Wasn't their first
might
game?
be. I really want to take Baylor here, but just because I don't think Cam Rising is going to play this one either. But Baylor gave up 42 to Texas State. I think Utah wins this one, but it might be closer than you expect.
I mean, I think Baylor's better than Florida, and if Utah can have their quarterback competition in the second half against that Florida defense, I think.
Isn't Baylor's quarterback out with
That's
the
right.
MCL sprain too?
Yeah, so they're on QB2 already.
All right, yeah. So Utah by 1 million then.
Give me the Utes.
Brett?
I'm going back and forth in my head. Yeah, give me
Do it.
Utah. No,
Okay.
give me Utah.
All right. Baylor's definitely.
I just don't believe it.
confirmed
I don't
lock
believe in
now.
Baylor, and I saw after that one-handed catch I saw on the sideline from that Texas State wide receiver. I just don't think Baylor can cover anybody. So that's my recency bias.
Now, the most interesting game of the weekend.
Yeah, this is the big one, and I don't think it's going to be particularly close. I think Bama rolls pretty easily
Yeah.
here.
I think Quinn Ewers gets exposed for the fraud he is, and Bama wins by quite
Ooh.
literally 1 million.
Fraud? I don't think
Yes.
Quinn Ewers is a fraud. I think he's a perfectly good bridge quarterback for Manning.
That's
And
fair.
that's my line.
I'll give you that.
The dude went 19 of 30 against Rice. He's a fraud.
True.
I really do think that Texas is going to win this game, but I got to go with Alabama because that's just the smart move. I mean, it is because they're at home. They are historically the better team. Texas did not look good against Rice, so you got to go with Alabama at home.
Are you just gonna write all of Brooks' picks at this point?
Maybe.
I'm actually giving you reasoning. He's just, just saying
Maybe
people.
they were
I
looking
mean,
ahead.
you just said that you thought Texas was gonna win this game, and then still picked.
I do
Alabama.
think that they're going to win. I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for them to win the game.
Listen, I think
But
Texas
the
is going to
smart
win here,
bet-
but Brooke picked Alabama, so I think he's off.
The smart bet is Alabama. Always Alabama.
That is quite literally what he did, Brett.
Nobody wants Texas back to be back more than I do, and I really, really want Texas to win. I even think they could win 10 games this season, but they're not winning this game. It's Alabama. The
That's
lack
right.
of news that I've heard from Tuscaloosa is terrifying, and I just think they're ready to roll everybody.
Here's what I'll say about this is I really truly, like Tyler said, I could see Texas winning this game, but when you break it down, Quinn Ewers is going to have to do something, I think, spectacular to I don't see it. And maybe I'm being blind to the fact that I'm just not a believer in Quinn Ewers, but I don't know. It's hard to say Texas is going to go into Bama and beat Bama in my mind.
Yeah.
And that's where it is. I think even on a neutral field, I'd give Texas a little bit more credit, but Tuscaloosa is such a brutal place to play. I don't see it.
It would for me, in my mind, Bama's quarterback would just have to have one of the worst games of all time for Texas to win this game, which is possible with a new guy taking over. But all he has to do is just not fuck it up. Milroe, Bama's quarterback, that's all he has to do is not fuck it up.
You'd really have to put up like a Jeff Sims tier kind of performance to give Texas any chance.
While I'm not a fan of that scale, it's absolutely correct.
Now, Brett, before
Game of
we
the
get to this next game,
Yeah.
there's been a long-standing debate on this podcast. Is Nebraska versus Iowa a rivalry?
Absolutely.
There it is.
There
Why
you
do
go.
you-
Who dissents? Who says nay?
So for a long time,
Yeah, that guy.
I would turn my nose up at this as a rivalry, but then I've gotten on board.
Brendan, you grew up in Omaha?
Yeah.
And you don't think that Iowa and Nebraska is a rivalry?
No.
That's insane to me. I grew up hating Nebraska. I only lived there because my mom lived there, and it's disgusting. Whenever I meet anybody, I tell everybody, "Yeah, I'm from Council Bluffs, Iowa." Oh,
I
where's
mean-
that? You don't need to.
I
know.
mean,
You don't
you
worry
are
about it. It's
just-
nowhere near
Whoa,
Nebraska.
that's out of control.
All right, next. Move
could-
on. God damn it,
Well,
Brett.
No. We got to dive in on this. You can claim
No,
Omaha, Nebraska,
Brett,
but you
no.
choose Council Bluffs, Iowa. That's not
I
even the
can't-
best part of Iowa.
Well, I mean that's true, but it is my part of Iowa. We have a good
Listen.
amount of meth. We have a good amount of other things too, but most things.
Listen,
things,
meeting
well,
people
I
from
know.
Council Bluffs, Iowa, you're just never going to meet anyone with all their teeth. So
Yes, you have. You met one. You met one this weekend, buddy. I don't know what to tell you.
well,
They are
met-
dentures. They're really nice dentures, but hey, as far as you can tell, I have all my teeth.
You met
But
other
I-
people with all their teeth from Council Bluffs.
Mhm.
But the thing that always held me back, and what I've kind of come over, is that it's never felt like they've ever been on the same level. It seems like obviously there's like 30 years where Nebraska's on a
Iowa's
different
just been
level. 'cause
better.
they're
Yeah.
good. And then there's this weird stretch where Nebraska's not very good that Iowa takes advantage of.
Pretty much ever since they got to the Big Ten, is that correct?
I mean, if
Iowa's
you
been
would,
better
No.
than Nebraska ever since Nebraska came to the Big Ten.
No, that's not.
Okay.
I mean, it's a
negative.
recent development, and
When
even
you
in those
Recently,
god awful teams, they still barely squeak out wins against 3 and 4 win Nebraskas.
yeah.
Yeah, how did last year work out for Iowa?
Yeah.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Iowa lost. Wait, to Nebraska or Iowa State?
Yeah,
To
well,
Nebraska.
both really. How
Nebraska.
both those games?
So
turn
Iowa
out?
State, Iowa lost 10-7 in Iowa City.
What a
this
game.
This year it's in Ames. Yeah. About Iowa, Nebraska. I'm actually looking that up right now. I'm curious myself.
You know what? Go ahead and just put down Iowa State for me.
Oh yeah, that's what you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean,
This
give
is
me
also
That's
Iowa.
crazy. Well, hey Brooke, I have some fucking stats for you. Then guess what? So you know how I just
Oh,
said
here
that
we go.
Iowa State's gonna beat
He
Iowa?
came prepared.
Yeah. Well, it turns out that Iowa State hasn't won back-to-back games since 2011 and 2012. Iowa has only lost one time in the past 20 years where they've scored more than 20 points. Brian Ferentz has to average 25 points per game to keep his job. There's no way that Iowa's staying below 20 points per game. They're going to fucking dog walk the Iowa State Cyclones. It's over. Iowa all day. Put it in fucking bold for me, please.
Is it in Ames?
It is in Ames.
really the
You're
toughest
not,
place to play in Iowa.
You're not
so
going
hard.
into Ames
So
and coming
difficult.
out with the W.
You know what they
like
say?
that.
You and I and Ames, two of the most difficult venues to play in.
All right.
They don't say that. They don't say that. They say Kinnick is the
Yeah.
worst place to play in if you're the opposing team.
I mean, because you have to be in Iowa City.
Yeah, you get to wave.
And
at
I
the
hear that
kids.
they have like pink locker rooms or something.
Yeah, they make you
too.
look
It
at the
makes it
sick
real
kids
hard.
after the third
Yeah.
quarter. What's up with that?
Well, because if you beat Iowa, they take you out at the end of the game and it's like, hey, these are the kids that you killed for beating us. They were gonna live if you let us win.
All right, let's not take a nice tradition and make fun of it. 'Cause-
Oh, it's super nice. I'm just saying that there's a seeded history behind every cool thing. So you need to know your history.
All right.
That's right.
Well,
So it's also a good time to plug. We have a Big 12 show on this network, and here's what I said there, and that I'll say here. I'm picking Iowa State, and I'd rather be wrong and pick Iowa State than pick Iowa and be right.
yes.
But it's not a rivalry.
I'll take a 10-1 record
Yeah.
this week.
Sure. Sure.
All right, Tyler, what's your pick?
Give me
Yeah.
Iowa.
Scumbag.
Oh,
Give me
you
Iowa.
are a fake. Ugh.
No, I think that they're
Let's
just a better team.
go.
I really do think that they're a better team. I mean, it wasn't on here. I wasn't prepared to pick it, but here it is in my face. Give me Iowa.
I'm gonna just start calling Tyler
Tyler
France the
believes
way
black and
he's
gold.
just neutral in this fight.
We nicknamed Tyler as a kid Wiz Khalifa because he's just always black and yellow, black and yellow.
I'm gonna call Tyler Deion Sanders the way he's 8 toes down for Nebraska.
What the hell does that even mean?
Did you guys see
gotta
that
be
Will
10
Compton
toes.
tweet, by the way, after the game?
What?
No.
Did you guys see that Will Compton tweet after the game? It was so funny. He's like, Deion Sanders, I knew he was going to pull it out. He's a man of conviction, always standing 10 toes down. He said that unironically, and he got roasted in the comments. He said maybe 10 toes was a poor choice of words.
Oh, I love that guy.
But that brings us to the big one. Nebraska, Colorado in Boulder. Nebraska hasn't beaten Colorado in like 4,600 days. Fellas, is this where the tide turns? Is Nebraska finally
I feel like
back?
you're enjoying this a little too much, Brandon.
Yeah.
Well, okay, here's the thing. So I'm very ingrained in Colorado and Nebraska Twitter. And what does drive me nuts about Colorado Twitter is that they don't ever bring that up. They bring back about how much they hate Nebraska, how much they love injuring their quarterbacks, how much they love all the weird stuff they do in Boulder. But they never bring up like, yeah, they're riding a nice 2-game win streak. They haven't won in 13 years or something. Like it's crazy
It's
how
2
much they
games.
missed.
Yeah.
It was 2 games in the Scott Frost era. Give me a break.
But
I mean, Scott Frost was supposed to be the homecoming king. I just want to
Yeah,
right.
Wait. Before you pick this game, hold on. I did see a tweet that's so stupid, but it gives me so much hope. Scott Frost first win, Minnesota. His first loss, Colorado. Matt Rule's first loss, Minnesota. First win, Colorado.
All right, and I want to hit you guys with some stats here.
Here we go. Let's go. Give me the
So-
stats.
From the betting side, this is going to be the most bet on college football game of the weekend and maybe of the year, they're saying. This game has more bets than 15 NFL games.
Because
And
it took. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
93% of the bets are coming in on Colorado, and I'm a firm believer
Let's go.
of the house never loses, especially Vegas. So in my mind, it does not matter how bad Nebraska is. Vegas needs Nebraska to win this in the worst way. So with that being said, Nebraska.
And I feel like they took so long to actually change the line on that game because Nebraska was favored by 7.5
Like a touchdown,
at
yeah.
one point, I think, and then it dropped to Nebraska being favored by 3. And then it finally switched to Colorado being favored. So a lot of people, if Nebraska doesn't win, a lot of people are going to make some money. But I'm just going with Nebraska because I love Nebraska. And I think this is Matt Rule's time to shine.
This feels like a good opportunity to carry Madam Zeroni up the mountain and cure the curse
Oh,
of
goodness
what the previous
gracious.
regime was. Like it just and I mean Vegas obviously thinks their way, and the smooth brain bettors out there are definitely thinking their way. But it just feels like if there are any football gods, if there is any sort of like football karma, I mean it's Nebraska. It's if
I'm
there's
tired
any
of this, Grandpa.
I don't want to root no more, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad.
so and just and very similar to Iowa State, I'd rather pick Nebraska and be wrong than pick Colorado and be right. Brett, and yours is the big one. Not only do you have to pick the winner, but I got to give us a final score here. Granted, you only have to get within 28 points to beat Luke last week, so the bar is pretty low, but
R.I.P.
not an easy job.
I mean, if the floor is mine, I'm just going to take a moment and milk it a little bit. For all the reasons we've said before, Nebraska can run the ball very well. Colorado did not stop the run at all. Colorado's playmakers, but Nebraska has a really good defense, and they can kind of lock them up on the outside if they need to. I think it's really going to come down to, like we said, 2 or 3 plays, and I think Nebraska pulls it through. I got Nebraska. Give me Nebraska 31-28.
31-28. Let's fucking go. That's a lot of points for Nebraska.
I don't remember the last time I watched Nebraska put up 31 points.
Did we give score predictions last week, Brandon?
Luke did.
No, just for
Luke?
the guests.
Yeah.
I'd be curious. I'd be curious what you guys think, though. Little tiebreaker, since we have a lot of the same picks. It's pretty chalky.
Yeah, I mean, well, the tiebreaker is more so you versus our other guests at the end of the year.
I got you.
But granted,
Seems
yeah,
like
go 11-0.
seems like the guy who went third copied the guy who went second a lot.
I mean, almost unanimously.
Well, it's the reason why he chose
there's one
Iowa. He
game.
didn't want anyone to look at the slide and be like, "Oh man."
I like the same games that he does. I'm sorry.
We're just
And nothing I picked was so outlandish.
no.
So
I mean, Washington State's kind of wild.
kiss my arse. I think Washington State is actually going to win that game. No BS.
Let's see you put that money where your mouth is.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
put the money in.
I'm gonna.
So let's see here. So I think if Nebraska does win, like I think they will, I think it'll be a real ugly game, real slow. And what is that, 56 points put up? I don't think that they get there at all. Now, granted, if Colorado wins, it could get, I mean, they could put on a track show if they can, expose Nebraska's defense. Then maybe it gets there. But I'm thinking more like a 24-17 max, maybe 21-18, something like that. Maybe like 24-0 would be pretty cool.
Give me 28-17 Nebraska.
Oh, not even close.
No.
Let's go.
I agree with Brandon. I think if we're going to win this game, it does need to stay lower scoring. Give me 17-13 Nebraska. Just reverse last week.
You do.
Expect it. And then also last thing to touch on here is our updated top 10. I didn't get to put together a fancy graphic, but here's kind of how it's shaped up here. Georgia, Michigan, USC, Alabama, Florida State, Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Washington, and Tennessee. I averaged that out between our three and then the AP because one of us left a certain team off their top 10 total that
What
I
a
think
prick.
skewed the rankings so far that I'm like, well, we got to have another data point here.
Nobody had Oregon on there, so
I thought about it.
you're not saying that. We're not talking enough about that.
Oregon played fucking Iowa School of the Blind. We're not rewarding that.
They
They did
kicked
put
the
up
shit out of them,
81
though.
points, though. Was it them that put up 81 points?
Yeah.
Because that was a
Yeah.
shellacking.
That was pretty crazy. But also, Brooke and I didn't put Oregon in our top 10, but neither did the Associated Press. So I don't
Well,
feel too
they're
bad
wrong.
about having them on our side.
All these journalists do is cry and cry and cry.
Is that
You
right?
want me to think what they say is important? No. I'm the common man. What I think is more important.
What
Well,
I
you're
will
wrong.
say is I think Penn State's for real. They have Drew Alar, who put up 300 yards. They have a top 10 defense, top 10 offensive line.
Listen,
I'm not so sure about Ohio State. Michigan's a different beast for sure, but I think Penn State's as good as almost anybody.
I kind of love Notre Dame.
I think
too.
Notre Dame is not getting enough love. I think Notre Dame, even
You're the
though
one
I
that put them at 8.
even though I put them at 8, I kind of messed that up. I'll hand up. That's on me.
Too much
I think-
Florida State penis. in
Would
your
you
face?
shut up and let me talk? You didn't even have Florida State in the top 10. You should be muted right now.
FS who?
Penn State didn't dominate the way I thought they would. West Virginia kind of hung around. I still think Penn State's going to be really good come the end of the year, but I think they beat Ohio State, but I don't think there's a way they beat Michigan.
I think that's fair. And unfortunately, I've already looked up the tiebreaker, and it's not in Penn State's favor. If it is a weird 3-way circle tie.
I don't think it's going to be a 3-way tie. I think it's going to be a 2-way tie with Penn State and Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. Yeah, I can see that. I just have a hard time seeing Ohio State losing to Michigan 3 times in a row. But I guess if they're going to look like they
their
did against
quarterback play, that's a tough look.
Yeah, it is what it is. Brett, do you have any major changes here?
No, it looks good. I mean, it's only the second week. I'm not really standing on the table for any one team. I'm just excited to see how it shakes out. I think it's gonna be a really fun year of college football.
My question is, Brett, would you have had FS who in your top 10?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know if I'm
You
putting him
think
as
you
high
know
as
a guy.
3. I don't know if I'm putting him as high as 3. Is that the AP's actual ranking is 5 right now?
Yeah.
4.
4.
4. Yeah, I don't like him that high, but I think Notre Dame is 4 and Florida State's 10. That's where I would put him.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. The AP got a lot of stuff wrong in their preseason poll for what it's worth. But every single one of them had Florida State in their top 10. So individual voters have discrepancies. Saw one put Colorado in the top 10. I saw one ranked Iowa State. So there's some crazy stuff going on there if you look ballot by ballot. But I do feel pretty good about being on the same side as the entire Associated Press.
I'm not a big I'm not going to sit here and say that I watch the All 22 for Florida State often, so I'm not as well versed on them as maybe I should be. But to me, I don't know. They were sloppy. They still got the win against LSU, but LSU pretty much gave that game away to them as well. I wouldn't say that they went out and won it. I don't know. We'll see.
How can you give away a game that you lost by 20?
Because if you watch the game, you watch the flow of the game. How many times is LSU in the red zone? How many times is LSU driving, and then all of a sudden they just stopped? And then Florida State would give them a personal foul, and then LSU just still couldn't do it.
Wait, pause.
But who stopped them?
That's what I was going to say.
The defense.
Red zone.
Yeah, but they didn't. The offense looked shitty. Did you see that quarterback play? The Texas Tech quarterback and LSU's quarterback, they had a little powwow. I was like, hey, this is how I was really bad. It's like, okay, well, I'll work that into my game. That's exactly what he did. So the season's still young. I think you guys are being a little dramatic about this Florida State love, but also they could be really good. I don't know.
I mean, 31-10 in the second half is pretty crazy.
It's okay.
I want Tyler to do something very demeaning when FSU wins the college football playoff this year. I don't know what. I'm open to suggestions, but I want him to
Yeah, don't think too hard about it because it's not going to happen.
Well, I am going to be thinking hard about it because they're going to be 12-0 and in the playoffs. So,
and then they're going to lose to somebody way better. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
Kansas State.
Yeah,
Kansas State. Yeah, exactly.
You guys.
In a couple weeks, we got to go back to our week 1 or our week 0 preseason poll and see how it matches up.
I don't think
Very interested to see
by chance.
Okay. Well,
also, I mean, I had Clemson pretty high up there. I was pretty high on the Tigers, and I'm not off the Tigers by any means. You know what? Yeah, let's do that.
I am.
Let's just circle back here in a couple of weeks.
I'm very off the Tigers.
Just
Again,
cut down.
very much so.
Tyler was wrong. I'm shocked.
I was wrong. Hey, at least I'm man enough to admit.
Can I hijack the show for a few minutes? We can cut this part out. I just want to bring something up that has been bothering me since Thursday. So now Minnesota, game tied. They're attempting the game-winning field goal with 3 seconds left, right? So a lot of people want to start shouting miss. We do that, then they call a timeout, and I'm sitting there thinking, wait, block that kick work. Let's do block that kick again. Let's get the boys hyped. Let's get rowdy. You know what I'm saying? Let's get a loud chant going. Let's shake this entire house. Start yelling block that kick. Minnesota makes it, unfortunately, and all of a sudden I'm getting hate, and they're thinking, and everyone's saying that it's my fault that they made that kick because we weren't saying miss. Instead, we were shouting like men, block that kick. Because dogs
Listen,
attack.
I don't
they
even
react.
remember that.
Dogs
So
attack. They don't react.
You're shouting at a wall right now. I don't remember that.
I don't remember.
That's so funny. That's hilarious. Okay. Yeah, see, we can cut that part out then.
There you go. I mean,
I
if
was
it worked
totally
the
gone.
first time, you got to go with that.
Like,
Yeah,
You got to go with
Brooke
what
and
got you
Tyler
there.
were literally just looking at, giving me the dirtiest looks in the entire world.
But you
Well,
were
Brooke-
also being
Brooke
a
was. I was
you
being
were also
what?
being a giant piece of shit the whole game.
No, dude. I was
You're behind
rallying
me.
the boys. I was getting the boys hyped.
Oh, Nebraska. Oh, come on. It was like James draws that bandwagon.
Hey, we're not hating on James in this podcast. by any means.
what
Tyler quite literally hates James Draws.
I do. He's a bandwagon fan. He does things to hurt me and only me. I'm sick of it.
That's the collab I need. Tyler Sprinkle and James Draws.
Outstanding. Well, that's all I had for this episode here. Is there anything else you guys would like to add here? We got Nebraska pretty much unanimously winning, which feels like a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. It's over.
Well, lots of great stuff. Hopefully better weeks than what we had last week. That was like, these games shouldn't be that hard this week one, but it is what it is. Any final thoughts, fellas?
Jet fuel
I'll
doesn't
say-
melt steel beams.
Wow. Thank you, Brett, for coming on. We've had 2 guests now. Let's have a little vote in the comment section whether to bring Brett or Luke back. Let's see what people think. Let the people talk.
I don't think Luke would want to come back. We talked him so into being like optimistic, like, hey, cheer up, it's a different era. And he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Go Big Red. I'm back.
That was a broken
He
man.
was. I saw a couple tears drop as that kick went in, and I just looked at him, and we embraced. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
I mean, I feel like we set him up for failure. I don't know if he'd want to be a part of that again.
Yeah. We were talking though, Brandon, and you were on that same train. And then today you act like you've never liked Nebraska in your life. You want all of them to go away and to just go to the FCS and start over.
Wow.
Wait,
Steve
who
would
to
up
go to
with
the
that,
FCS?
Actually,
Nebraska.
just go to JUCO. Just go back to JUCO.
No. I'm all in. Now, granted, I'll admit
Unless
time
it's Jeff Sims, then he's all
Jeff
out.
Sims can go. He can go play at Iowa Western for all I care. I'm sure he'll tell us about the great scenery of Council Bluffs, Iowa.
What's wrong with Iowa Western?
Jesus.
What's wrong with playing football
Yeah.
at Iowa Western?
I love Iowa Western.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You're talking to
It's a different
just
level.
Iowa
of
Western
football.
alumni.
It's just the city as a whole.
Reaver Fever.
It's not
Absolutely.
great. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's great.
That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted.
Sick.